Hello guys, hello family, hello friends. This is Dr. T and welcome to Clinical Medicine with Dr. T. So guys, if you are watching for the first time, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe. That's the only way my channel can grow. A simple like does help me a lot. So guys, please consider liking. So guys, in this video, I want us to talk about how to place the ECG leads correctly, or the electrodes correctly, so that we can get a good reading or a correct sort of like tracing. So one of the things that I struggled with when I started to do ECGs is the placement of the electrodes. If the placement of your electrodes is not correct, you are gonna get an abnormal ECG that you won't even know how to start when it comes to interpretation. And also you might diagnose things that are not really there. So for me, I think that this is where the understanding of ECG actually begins, right? So in this video, we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to talk about, we always place 10 electrodes, but they always call it a 12-lead ECG. Why is it a 12-lead ECG? And for us to understand that, we need to understand the concept of, if it's a concept though, but the Einthoven's triangle. And also we need to understand which ones are limb leads, which ones are chest leads or precordial leads. And yeah, so let's get started. So guys, just gonna draw. So let's say this is our patient. He's smiling there because he's finally getting his ECG. So this is his neck, and this is the left upper limb, the right upper limb, the left lower limb, the right lower limb, right? So when doing an ECG, never be shy when it comes to exposing the patient. You need to expose the chest of the patient, and they need to be lying in a cardiac position or in a semi-sitting position, but you don't want them to be upright. You don't want them to be standing. So you just want them to be comfortable. And so the best position is actually a cardiac position. So you're gonna take your electrodes. You have your machine. Now, when you place your leads, the machines that we have now, they're quite simple. They just tell you everything. So if you read there, you'll see that there's one that is marked AVL, so it's gonna be on the left side. Then the AVR is gonna be on the right side. And then the AVF is gonna be on the left foot, on the left leg. And the F, which is the neutral lead, always put it on the right side. Always put it on the right side, right? And these are your limb leads, but we are going to talk about the other three. But these are your first three limb leads. They are on the limbs, so they are limb leads. And then right here on the fourth intercostal on the right side, you will put your V1. Then next to it, but across, now put your V2. And then you put your V4 on the fifth intercostal, mid-clavicularly. And then equidistant, you just put your 3 there. Like, just make sure in the middle, you make a mark. There must be the distance from this side, it must be equal. This side must also be equal. So you put your 3 there. And if you put your 6 there on the same fifth intercostal part, mid-axillary, you put your 6 there. In the middle, you just put your 5. So for correct placement, you need to make sure that you locate your fifth intercostal. Once you locate your fifth intercostal, then you know where you're going to put the V1 and the V2, right? And then you locate your mid-clavicular line, then you put your 4, but in the fifth intercostal. Then you locate your mid-axillary, you put your 6. And if you can look at the shape of sort of like maybe a pattern, the way they are placed, it goes like this, and just a small dip, very like sort of like a smooth kind of so it's something like this. The minute your ECG or your electrodes, they do this, or they do this, or they do that, then you know that you have not placed them correctly. They just make a nice nice depression there that is almost looks like it's not there, but it's there. Then you know that you've put them nicely. Those 6 leads are called your chest leads, or your precordial leads, right? Now, if you can count, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So those are 10 electrodes that you have put in this patient. But they still call it a 12-lead ECG. Why is it 12-lead ECG? Right? Maybe just to go back a bit. The ECG is a machine that is used to actually pick up the electrical activities of the heart. Where is depolarization beginning? Very important. Where does it start? Because as we know, depolarization does not always start at the SA node. Sometimes it starts at the AV node and sometimes lower down. So we want to know where is it starting, and you're going to see that by the tracing that you're going to get. So the ECG takes all that information, the electrical impulses, and form or create a wave like pattern. That's the ECG wave. Okay, so the ECG picks up where is depolarization, where does it begin, and where does it go, and how fast does it move throughout all of those conduction structures, right? Where is it initiated, what structures does it go through, and at what rate does the electric current or the impulses get transmitted from up to the furthest part of the conduction system. Okay, now the way I like to explain this, because I mean guys, this is clinical medicine, we don't really like to make things complicated. You know, there are things that we are taught even in medical school, there are concepts that we have been taught But sometimes when you sit down and read, you're like, whoever was teaching this thing didn't make things easy. They just made everything very complicated. I find that ECG is one of those things that lecturers, they just make it very complicated. And personally, I don't really see, I'm not the best. I'm still learning as well, but the more I look at ECGs, I'm like, if I could have taught this thing this way, I wouldn't have struggled with an ECG. But I struggled like everyone else. So yeah. So now what I want to explain now is, I want to take you guys back to what? I think grade 10, where we started talking about vectors and all that. Remember, the electric current is a vector. Remember, a vector has got magnitude and a direction. So electricity has got magnitude and direction. So it's a vector. Now, when you have, remember what they used to tell us, that when you've got two vectors, if one is pulling towards this direction, the other one is pulling towards that direction, depending on how big these are, but your resultant is going to be somewhere here, right? Maybe if this force is about 13 newtons and then this one is about 13 newtons, your resultant is going to be at 45 degrees. But then if this is 40 and then this is 60, so this one, so your resultant will be towards this direction, because this force is stronger than this force, which is like only 14 newtons. So now that we have that, I want to bring that to the ECG. This is how I like to imagine it. So between these two leads, AVR and AVL, so those leads are actually picking up the electrical current or the action potentials. But there's a lead that is able to sum up, sort of like a resultant of these two. And then it creates, the ECG is able to sort of like summarize these two leads and give us a wave or a wave-like pattern, or give us a recording or a tracing. So the lead that is able to do that between AVL and AVR is what is called lead 1. So like I was saying, I like to look at lead 1 as sort of like, so it's the potential difference between these two giving us a resultant, kind of a that's how I like to explain it. And then there's also, so the machine is also able to take the potential difference between this lead and this lead and create a lead on its own. That lead is called lead 2. The same thing applies on this side, lead 3. So now, when you count these leads, you've got 6 leads there, V1 to V6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You've got 12 now. For some reason, the electrodes are 10, they count the neutral, but for the 12 lead ECG, they don't count the neutral. So if you can count them now, so initially we had the 6 trace leads, plus this one, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But now we've got 3 extra leads, lead 1, lead 2, and lead 3. So lead 1, lead 2, and lead 3, you don't put electrodes for them. The machine does it for us. It gives us lead 1, lead 2, and lead 3. So those are like your imaginary leads, if I may put it that way. They are there, but they're not there. So you don't put an electrode for them, but the machine gives you a tracing. So, like I'm saying, it's a potential difference between this one and this one. It gives us this one. Potential difference between this one and this one gives us this one. Potential difference between AVR and AVF gives us a lead 2, right? That's why we've got a 12 lead ECG. So you don't count the neutral on the 12 lead, because remember, the neutral is just an earth. It's not really an active lead, it's just an earth, right? So this is our person now. So if we can put our electrodes like this and connect our leads like this, we can be sure that whatever reading that we get from our ECG is going to be correct. Okay, now I want to bring your attention to something. So now let's talk about the types of leads. So like I said, we've got precordial leads, and we said it's V1 to V6. Some people call them chest leads. Then we've got our limb leads. Our limb leads is your AVR, AVL, AVF, lead 1, lead 2, lead 3. So these are augmented leads, the A augmented leads. So those are our limb leads. So whenever we do a chest x-ray for a patient, we always ask for AP and lateral, because we want to have a view of all the sides, basically. There are things that you can pick up on an AP, but you cannot pick them up on a lateral, and vice versa. So that's why you've got leads that are around the heart to make sure that we don't miss anything. So V5 and V6, they look at the heart from this direction, from the left lateral, but on a horizontal plane. And then these ones, they look at the heart anteriorly, but on a horizontal plane. And then lead 2, AVF, and lead 3, they look at the heart sort of like from inferior up. And then this one, this direction, and this one, this direction. So now that we understand how to place the leads and why we place leads like that, and how do we move from a 10 lead to a 12 lead ECG, I think now we can go back to the physiology and the anatomy, so that we can understand how is all of this how are all of these electrical conductions, like how is electrical action potentials, how are they actually conducted, and how are they initiated, and all of that. So we're going to do now the basic anatomy and the basic physiology. So guys, I hope you like that. Please consider subscribing, like, comment, and share. Thank you so much.